Snowflake, pink snowflake, pink snowflake. Gran Seiko, known for its beautifully finished watches, for its gliding spring drive movements and gorgeous dials, inspired by natural wonders and marketing departments, and for years, through no intention of Gran Seiko, the Gran Seiko spring drive Snowflake has been the manufacturer's probably its most iconic watch. As far as I can tell, Gran Seiko didn't market the Snowflake more than any other watch, or hold it up as a halo piece. People just love the watch, organic popularity, just like this channel, except for the popularity part. I owned a standard white dial Snowflake for a while, and it is really a special watch. Interesting, it's good looking, unusual, not crazy expensive, $6,200 now. I think it was $48 when I bought mine, but I sold mine for reasons. Some reasons that still might apply to this limited edition pink snowflake that just came out, and some of the reasons I sold mine might actually be remedied by this one. And the only reason I was able to get my oily fingers on this limited edition is thanks to Exquisite Timepieces in Naples, Florida. The people at Exquisite have never met me, and yet they keep sending me watches to make videos about. No money changes hands, they just pay for shipping. So when you shop with them, tell them that these videos are the reason and the only reason you're spending your money with them, and how smart I am, and how good mouth talk, internet word talk I do. This SBGA497 was announced in February of this year, and it started hitting stores and wrists a couple months later. It seems like every new watch, especially Gran Seiko watches, has an ostensible, important reason for being produced. A new watch to celebrate the opening of a new boutique, or to celebrate the 14th anniversary of the 10th anniversary of the 40th anniversary of the first Gran Seiko watch in 1960. This pink snowflake watch is one of those anniversary watches. This is to commemorate the 20th anniversary of the first automatic spring drive movement in a watch. Not the first spring drive movement in a watch, and not the 25th anniversary, but the 20th of the first automatic. Fine, why not? If you need a reason to make a cool watch, okay. Life is short, celebrate everything you can. Or you could just make a cool watch and let people attach their own importance to it. Stop telling me how to celebrate my life, you're not the boss of me. Because of the specialness of this watch, it's limited to 1,500 pieces, which is not super limited, but Gran Seiko has enough stores and dealers that my guess is that this will sell out within a few weeks or months. The only thing that makes this physically different from the standard snowflake watch, the SBGA497, is the dial. The case, bracelet, movement, all the same. And I said physically different because this pink snowflake is $100 more. It's $6,300 because pink ain't free, baby. 41mm titanium case that's 48.5 millimeters long, 12.5 millimeters thick, and it has 20mm lugs. Drilled lugs, which is kind of unusual on a watch that looks dressy-ish. It's water resistant to 100 meters and has a screw-down crown. It's powered by the 9R65 spring drive movement, and it has a 5-year warranty. The snowflake weighs 100 grams on the bracelet. That's thanks to the quote, high-intensity titanium. This titanium isn't lighter than other titaniums, but Gran Seiko says it's more scratch-resistant than steel. Gran Seiko once upon a time said that this titanium had 350 hardness Vickers, which is harder than steel, which is about 200 to 250 hardness Vickers. So it's harder, but it's definitely not scratch resistant. I was once told by a Gran Seiko representative that people started calling this watch the Snowflake not because of the dial texture, but because this watch is super light and the second hand glides like a snowflake gently falling to earth. Okay. Also, the watch is easily offended by political jokes from both sides. As to the size and wearability of the Snowflake watches, I always think they're gonna be smaller than they are. Now, 41mm isn't exactly large on my
7-inch wrist.
But the style of the Snowflake, I don't know, the style implies a smaller size. And then there's the 100 gram weight. It really is surprisingly light. Like, after a while, you just don't notice this thing on your 7-inch wrist. And if you don't have a 7-inch wrist, I suggest you get one because, son, you are missing out. The lightness is great because it makes the watch comfortable, but for me, now this was one of the reasons I sold my Snowflake. It actually felt too light. In a way, it felt fragile to me, which I know it isn't, and that fragility and weight aren't related, but my brain, and it's not always the paramount of reason. I think another reason I sold mine was that it was a bit monochromatic for me. Not enough color, not enough contrast, but I don't have that complaint with this watch. The star of the show is this pink fume or gradient dial with a classic snowdrift dial texture. Yes, this texture is inspired by the snowdrifts on Mount whatchamacallit in the something or other mountain range in Japan. This is a very light pink dial. It kind of behaves in the same way as the dial of the Gran Seiko Shunbun, the spring season watch. By that I mean it never appears white, but in a lot of light it's barely pink. In more direct light it's barely pink. This is very pretty and I like it. But I think I would have preferred this without the gradient color where it's darker on the edges and lighter in the middle. I think a uniformed light pink would have been better for me. But I do like the gold GS logo and the red hand of the power reserve indicator. That's what this thing is on the dial, like it or not. It's a power reserve indicator for the spring drive movement. The automatic spring drive movement first showed up in the Gran Seiko SBGA497 20 years ago. That's what this pink snowflake is celebrating. The first ever watch to have any spring drive movement was the SBWA001 in 1999. That was a Seiko, not a Gran Seiko. I got to see this one a few years ago thanks to collector Eric Strickland, who brought it to a meetup. This 9R65 has 72 hours of power reserve and it's pretty. It's a good looking movement, even if it is machine finished. What makes a spring drive movement special is that it's a combination of mechanical movement and quartz movement. It's like the RoboCop of movements. There's a winding rotor and a mainspring for storing energy, just like a mechanical movement, but time regulation is handled by a quartz crystal. That's why these are so accurate, to plus or minus a half second per day, 0.5 seconds per day. And then the escapement, the way it releases energy from the mainspring, is through an electromagnetic braking system. This is why the spring drive seconds hand is perfectly smooth. Comparing this with even a super high beat mechanical watch movement, you'll see that the mechanical is actually ticking at 10 times per second, while the spring drive is just perfectly gliding. It's a pretty cool, interesting, and completely unnecessary piece of technology, and so are all the watches I make videos about. Although, if something makes you happy and it doesn't hurt anyone, then maybe it's not unnecessary. Wearing this watch for a few days, I really, for real, no joke, truly have thought about buying it or another snowflake, and those aren't the kind of feelings that my bank account needs right now. So you know what? I changed my mind. Tell Exquisite Timepieces to stop sending me watches. Tell them I'm hurting their brand. Tell them I've offended you. Cancel me. For my own good, I need canceling.